time to rebuke. It's a time to get that word and say, God, I stand on your word. God, you're able. God, you can work it out. See, when you set a watch, that means you're responsible. You're watching it. It ain't going to get out of control. It ain't going to get away. Because I'm going to pray this thing out. I'm going to fast it out. I'm going to tell God, this is my watch. You got to take it personally. Come on. When that supervisor come, you done work from 11 to 8 that morning. And that supervisor come, he said, come on down, and you sit down with him. He is personal. He's talking about what went on within your shift. What happened last night. Anything that happened, he's going to say, hey, why didn't you do something? We trained, we told you what to do. I'm saying, church, why don't we do something? This is our watch. Why don't we do something about all these, the enemy coming against our teenagers, coming to violence and the murder? Why don't we do something? This stuff is touching us. If it ain't got to you yet, it's on the way. The enemy is spreading like wildfire. He's spreading. You might say, well, that's on the east side, but it's coming to the south side, the north side. It's everywhere. So we got to start. What do you do when you set a watch? That means before you go to bed, you pray. You say, God, I bind the enemy that's coming against my children. I bind the devil that want to break in my house. I plead the blood. See, we ain't set no watch. You got to say that's what they used to do years ago. People prayed more back then than we do. We doing a whole lot of claiming and naming and framing. But see, this is the time to set a watch now. That means you got to be on your game. You got to be on your toes, or you listen to me. The Bible says when they heard about Sanballat and Tobiah, and see, when you heard that the devil finna do something, that means you tighten it up. You gird up your loins. Come on, you gird up. That means you say, God, I'm definitely going to live for you now. When you go to seeing the calamity and disasters, and you go to hear about preachers and saints falling and backsliding, that means you tighten yourself up. You say, Lord, I'm setting a watch now, Lord. Lord, I was kind of slack, but I'm going to pray this a little bit more. I was slack on coming to church, Lord, but I'm setting a watch. Devil, no, I see what you're doing. You trying to take me out. You trying to take my family out. See, you got to tighten it up. See, when you set a watch, that means you tighten up everything. That means you go and you check everything. You check your marriage. You checking your kids. You check your finances. You check everything, because you say, I'm setting a watch, because I know the devil, he'll try to slide in when I slack up, when I get slowful, when I ain't praying, when I ain't fasting, when I ain't reading my Bible, when I stop coming to church, he'll slide in. But I'm setting a watch. I'm telling everybody, let's tighten up. Watch the east side, watch the west side, watch the south. Come on, we got to cover this here, because the enemy's coming. There's a storm coming, and we got to get ready for it. We got to brace ourselves. We see what they're doing. Set a watch, y'all. Go to praying more. Go to reading your Bible. Go to telling God that you're faithful. Go to stand up for God. Don't compromise. Don't break under the prayer. Set a watch. You set that watch. Come on. Bible says how that they had heard about what the enemy was going to do. He hadn't done nothing yet. The devil just had took Peter, but he hadn't killed him. In the book of Nehemiah, the devil was intending to stop the wall from being rebuilt. Whatever you got going in your spiritual walk, the devil's assignment is to shut it down. He know if you keep praying, you keep coming to church, he know you done made up in your mind, God, I'm getting closer to you. So automatically he comes to try to break that momentum. He tries to break your stride. How many know sometimes you wanted to go and you couldn't go? Wanted to pray and you couldn't pray. Wanted to do things, but all of a sudden God gives you a breakthrough. See, that's what God's giving the church a breakthrough. God's going to give sinners a breakthrough if they'll call on him. God will give a backslider a breakthrough. That's what God gave me the day I got saved. I could not save myself. I could not pray. I couldn't stop nothing. But when I told God to help me, he gave me a breakthrough. What is a breakthrough? That means when God destroyed that stronghold. He destroyed that yoke, that thing that had you addicted, that thing that had you bound. You was controlled, you was manipulated by it. God destroyed it. Now after God destroyed it, you got to set a watch. Oh Lord, from this day forward, not another time will I let the devil trick me. Not another time. The Bible say God told Samuel. Samuel said, Lord, you forbid that I should cease to pray for the people of God. It's wrong for you not to pray for your children. It's wrong for you not to pray for your family. It's wrong for you not to pray for your man of God. That's your watch upon my life. You have to watch, set a watch for your leader. That's what the church did. They set a watch for their man of God. They saw what the devil had got him, and them folks went in prayer. They was telling God, you're going to deliver him. God, this is the man of God. He has a word. He has a vision. God, you ain't through with him. And we come against the devil. Some of y'all got family members, and you told God you're going to save my child. Let me see your hand if God said he's going to save your family. And you got to hold God to it. How do you hold God to it? By keeping that thing up before him. You keep on praying. Listen what the Bible says. I will bless the fruit of your womb. That means God going to bless your children. See, the Bible said how that when a husband and wife get saved, it calls them to have a godly seed. Even when that woman is saved and she has a seed, even when that man is saved and you have a seed, God automatically says, I'm going to cover your seed. But you got to set a watch, though. You got to set a watch. What is a watch, preacher? You got to pray. The Bible said how they watch day and night. That's what it said in Nehemiah. They watch day and night. It's a dark time now, y'all. It's night, y'all. It's night, y'all. Set a watch. It's night. What is night? That means it's killing, murdering, robbing, all kind of diabolical things. But if we'll set a watch, we'll catch the devil. The Bible says when you catch a thief, make him pay you 7 times. We got to catch the devil. Devil, I bind you. What do you mean catch her? Cut him off at the path. Cut him off at the path. Come on. They could have gave up. He said, well, he got Peter. Y'all heard he got Peter. No, they didn't. Them people set a watch. And I ask you today, will you set a watch for me? Will you set a watch over your family? A prayer watch, fasting, confessing the word. Will you set a watch on this church for me? Will you start watching over this church for me in prayer? Start watching over your husband, your wife, your children. But you know, if it don't be for the righteous, a lot of time the devil would have killed our kids, our wives, our husbands. That wasn't nothing but a watch. And we was halfway doing it, but if we would just come and say, no, I'm finna set a watch. Come on, I'm going to set a watch. That means, that word watch means a centennial soldier. That was the kind of soldier that patrolled. That soldier would just patrol up and down a certain area. Just patrolling, walking and looking, walking and looking. Church, that's us. We need to be praying in the spirit, watching and looking, saying, God, what is it? Don't you know when you start praying in the spirit and start talking to God on a daily basis and praying and watching over your family, all of a sudden you'll run up on something. You say, God, what is this? Come on, that's what the watch is for. It's where you'll catch the enemy. God will drop a dream in your heart about somebody while you're in prayer. God will drop something in your spirit about your son. God will drop something in your spirit. He'll drop it in a dream. All of a sudden, you'll get an urge to pray for a particular person. Why? Because you was on a watch. All of a sudden, you get a phone call, and somebody said, Mama, I don't know what it is, but I keep feeling this about Sue. I keep feeling it. See, that's a watch. Why? Because you set a watch. You set a watch on something you're looking for. You're looking for negative. You're looking for something to pop up where you nip it in the bud. Are you listening to me? I want to encourage you today. Make up in your mind that from this day forward, my family, we're setting a watch. Every night, we're going to pray over everybody. Every morning, we're going to pray over our kids before they go to school. Set a watch. How many times have our kids left out the house in the morning and we didn't set a watch over them? God, go with my children, watch over my husband, watch over my family. See, that's setting a watch over them. That's setting prayer over them. God intervene. Stand to your feet. Would you lift your hands to heaven right now? We're going to finish this message tonight.